Ernest will take me back. It's not too
Don't
late.
say that. You
Better off
can't.
with him.
You know
I
you
was
can't. You
safer.
don't love him.
Love is not the only thing in the world. Have you seen my reputation recently? Only I seem to put it down somewhere, and now I can't seem to find it.
They're nonsense, Wallis.
You haven't read them?
Nor should you. Look, they never dared print them over here. I told you, ignore them for
I
God's sake.
can't afford to ignore them. If I divorce Ernest, I have absolutely no protection. Because when all of this is over, you will still be king, and I will be finished.
Won't ever be over.
Won't you be realistic? It's over now.
Where are you going?
Somewhere, anywhere.
You can't leave me.
Watch me.
You can't. Don't do this, Wallis. I'm warning you. You leave me now, I'll kill myself. I swear to God, I need it, Wallis. You can't do this to me. Wallis, I'm begging you. Please, Wallis, I'm begging you. Wallis.
Deep breaths, come on.
I knew breakfast was a bad idea.
Are you sure you want to go through with this? It's not too late to nip out the back way.
No choice, Kitty. Ernest wants a new wife. I never really had any stability until I met Ernest. And now I've let it slip through my fingers. Look at me, out in the cold again.
Not quite, darling. You have got the king.
For now, but he'll have to bite the bullet. Sooner or later, they'll make him. And when that happens, well, I shall be like the Arabs. Fold my tent and steal silently into the night. End up a mad old eccentric abroad, wearing strange hats and muttering about a mysterious past.
Oh, Wallis.
Pass me my wall paint.
Simpson versus Simpson, court one. Simpson versus Simpson, court one.
Well, how does it feel? A free woman at last? I feel a huge weight's been lifted, don't you?
Well, it's been a long day. To tell you the truth, I've got a bit of a thumping headache.
Oh, you poor old thing. Fortunately, I have the perfect remedy. Firstly, sit down. Secondly, stop frowning. No wonder you've got a headache. And thirdly, open this. Well, go on. What do you think?
Darling, I can't possibly wear this. People will notice.
Why not? It's about time some of these people realized I'm deadly serious about making you my queen.
But don't you think as family we ought to try to understand his feelings?
His feelings? What about his duty? He doesn't seem to realize the shame and humiliation we're all suffering because of his feelings.
He wants you to meet Mrs. Simpson.
What?
He wants you to talk to her.
Out of the question. Absolutely not.
Then what shall we do before the whole thing ends in a bloody shambles?
All my life, I have put my country before anything else, Bertie, including my family. When I think of the hundreds of thousands that laid down their life for this country in the war, and he cannot bring himself to make one small sacrifice. No. Tell him I shall never receive that woman, Bertie. Never.
Well, a fine speech, Your Majesty, and if I may say so, read with great dignity and authority.
Well, it ought to be okay, Winston. You taught me everything I know about speech making.
And he has always been a very apt pupil, Mrs. Simpson.
Well, now, if we could just get him to smoke a big fat cigar, then he'd be perfect. That's how I see it.
Look at her. Acts as if she were queen already. People fawning over her. Him trotting after her like a puppy dog for all the world to see. Are you going to wait till she's halfway up the aisle before you do something?
I've given the matter considerable thought recently, Alec. And here's the thing, you see, I cannot confront the king on a matter of his personal life. That is not the job of government ministers. The job of ministers is to advise. So I must wait until he comes to me. And for that to happen, someone else needs to confront him. Someone close to him. Alec.
Too much?
Oh, no, it's bliss.
And a damnation. Look at this.
Excuse us a
The
moment.
man has no right, no right.
What on earth's the matter?
Sir, Your Majesty's humble servant,
I feel it is my duty to bring to your notice the following information. Firstly, the silence of the British newspapers on the subject of your friendship with Mrs. Simpson cannot be maintained for more than a matter of days. Secondly, the Prime Minister is meeting with the Cabinet today to discuss their position. The resignation of the entire government, a possibility which cannot be discounted, would result in the calling of a general election in which Your Majesty's personal relationships would be the main issue. In my view, there is only one possible course of action, and that is for Mrs. Simpson to leave the country immediately.
He's right, I ought to go.
You'll do no such thing! It's a gross impertinence!
No, I think it's a genuine warning.
It's a threat is what it is. They're telling me to give up the woman I intend to marry. It's blackmail. They think they can make me give you up by holding a gun to my head where they've picked the wrong man.
David, I think it really might be better for me if I were to go away.
You will stay here with me. You and I are to be married, and they'd better get used to that idea pretty damn quick. Two can play at this game. I understand that you have some fear of a constitutional crisis developing, Mr. Baldwin.
Indeed, Your Majesty. I have discussed the matter with my senior colleagues in the government, and very great concern has been expressed at the prospect of your union with a woman whose two previous marriages have been dissolved by divorce. The general public, I'm afraid, would not tolerate it.
I see. And you feel you can speak for the entire British public, do you, Baldwin?
Admittedly, since the war, there's been a certain relaxation in terms of standards and morals. But people expect more of their monarch.
Mrs. Simpson was the innocent party in both her divorces, which means there's absolutely nothing in the law which could prevent our marriage.
Sir, I'm not suggesting you'll never see her again. There's no reason why you should not continue your close friendship in private, shall we say.
I refuse to take her as a mistress. And you talk to me of standards and morals.
Majesty, I did not for one
You cannot
moment...
deny that it is a fundamental right for a man to marry whoever he chooses.
But you are not a man, sir. You are the king. And whoever the king marries becomes queen. And she becomes queen, sir, of this country, with all the status, rights, and privileges that brings. Therefore, in the choice of a queen, the voice of the people must be heard. I'm afraid that is part of the price a king must pay.
I intend to marry Mrs. Simpson as soon as she is free to marry. And if the country doesn't like it, I am prepared to go. Good day, Mr. Baldwin.
Go. Sir, you should.
Good day, Mr. Baldwin.
Mrs. Simpson, good morning. We weren't expecting you so early.
Harry, my aunt has come from Washington to stay with us for a few weeks.
Mrs. Merriman, good to see you again. Welcome to the fort.
Where is he, Perry? I need to speak to him.
Well, I'm afraid he's upstairs getting ready. He has a rather important early meeting with Mr. Churchill. Might I suggest some breakfast for you and your aunt?
Oh.
Mrs. Simpson. Mrs. Simpson.
I called you twice last night and first thing this morning. Why wasn't I put through?
Morning, darling.
You've been avoiding me. The whole of London is alive with gossip and rumor. The whole damn government is dissecting my past, my reputation, my character, and you won't talk to me. What is going on?
Of course I'm talking to you. I just don't want to bother you with the detail.
I am worried sick that you're going to do something stupid and wreck your life.
Darling, with any luck, it won't come to that.
Oh, God, listen to you. With any luck. Listen, they will never let me be queen.
You don't know that.
Never. But there might be an alternative. I was asked to lunch yesterday with Lord Harmsworth.
Daily Mail.
And he explained to me the idea of a morganatic marriage. One where I would become your wife but not queen. I would remain a private citizen and have some lesser title or other, but have none of the state duties and so forth of a queen. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't like it. I want you as my equal, my queen.
We don't live in a fairy tale. Look, my darling, this is your heritage. This is what you were born to do. It's your destiny. You'll be a great king. You're already full of plans and ideas. You can't walk away from it. Will you talk to Winston about it, please?
Well?
He's gone to the palace to meet with the lawyers. He thinks he can make it work.
And if he can? If it turns out you're just clutching at straws?
Oh,